In this video I'm going to show you how you can quickly set up a Safex Blockchain node on a virtual private server. A VPS is what they're sometimes called. Just a quick disclaimer though, this video is not about mining Safex Cash. That video will follow up in the next couple of days once we've got a pool set up. This is simply just to be able to support the Safex network by adding a node for other nodes to be able to connect to and to spread the blockchain updates across the network. In effect, the more nodes that we have on the network, the more stable the network is, the more reliable the network is, and the quicker that the blockchain updates get spread across the world so everyone is running on the same blockchain. So for this I'm going to set up a VPS on a hosting provider called Vultr, or VULTR. Vultr, I think they might be called as well. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. But these are the servers that I actually use myself, both for the Safex News website plus a few of my own private projects. They have servers all across the world. They've got quite a high concentration in America, in part of Asia, Europe, and even over in Australia. Their availability is quite good. Prices start quite low. I think it's as low as $3.50 a month. In fact, the $3.50 a month is the package I'm going to use. Now I'll leave a link in the description for this video. It's an affiliate link, just to be clear on that. By signing up to Vultr through my affiliate link, I'll get a little bit of a kickback, which helps keep me running all the nodes that I actually run, plus the Safex News website. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just a nice way to be able to support Safex News. So what you need to do is, once you've registered with Vultr, I won't show you how to do that, it's pretty straightforward. You'll need to add yourself a little bit of credit. You can do so within the credit system itself. You can do by credit card, PayPal. You can actually pay by Bitcoin, which is how I actually top up my account. Alipay as well. You just go through the various options to be able to add a bit of credit. Personally, I would recommend you just put $10, maybe $5. I'm not too sure what the minimum is. It's $10 if you use PayPal. I think Bitcoin, again, it's $10. Credit card, $10. Yeah, so it's a minimum of $10 that you can do that. But that $10 may even keep the node running for a couple of months anyway. So it's been put to good use. So once you've got an account and you've got some credit, you go to your servers page. You can see here I've actually got quite a few nodes already running across the world. This is what I was doing on Monday. I spent most of the day setting these up. The process that I'm going to show you is actually quicker than what I did previous. There wasn't a static build of the blockchain daemon available at the time, so this is even quicker. So first of all, what you need to do is just press plus there, so deploy a new server. Select the location which you feel you want to put the server. I'm just going to put it in London because that's where I am. Well, I'm not in London, but I'm in England. And what you need to do is you need to, for your server type, it's 64-bit Ubuntu 18. If you click that, then here's your options. I've not tried the $2.50, the IPv6. I'm not sure if the Safex blockchain is compatible with IPv6. It might be. If it is, I'll check with Daniel and the team, see if it is or not. If it is, I will comment about it in the description on the video. I'm actually going to use this one here. So it's a 20 GB SSD server. You've got one CPU core, you've got 512 megabytes of memory, 500 gigabytes of bandwidth. For the early days of Safex, for the first year or so, that is more than enough for what you need. The beauty of these servers is, as the blockchain grows, you can actually scale and increase the size of your node to follow the size of the blockchain. Very easy to do, but I'm not going to go through that in this video. If you do want to know how to do that, just leave a comment and I can follow up with another video. So you select your $3.50 a month server option. You just go down. So you've got some options here. So enable auto backup, that's an extra 70 cents a month. Enable DDoS protection. I've not actually tried that yet. I don't think it's really necessary because there's no real incentive for DDoSing an individual server, especially when there are potentially hundreds of other nodes knocking around. So enable private networking. Don't really need that for this. May do it at another point with some other projects that I'm going to show you where you can do maybe load balancing and stuff like that, but it's not necessary for just setting up a basic node to support the network. So you can set your host name. You're not going to be having like a web browser front end for it, so you can just set whatever you want. So I'm just going to go video node, set the label so I know what it is, Safex video node. Then you just press deploy now. Give it a few seconds, maybe up to a minute. So just cut the video short there, just while the server's setting up. It took roughly a minute and a half to do. The server may still be finishing up, so let's just do this. It's going through all this. Yeah, it's all ready for me. So the next thing you need is a terminal. I use Putty. If you just go on Google and search Putty SSH, it'll bring you to the first website where you can use this. So this is an SSH terminal, and you use this to communicate with your server. It's text controlled, pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an IP address. I'm going to grab the IP address, paste it in there, open, just say yes to that. The username is root, and it will give you the password for root. And if you're on Windows, you just cut it from there, right click, and it'll auto paste. So now that's done, you can go through several things. You could either do a quick update on the server. So it's sudo apt-get update, and then the same again, but it's upgrade, and it'll go through and download the latest version. That's entirely up to you. It's just running this node, so it's your call. It takes roughly about 5 minutes for those updates to go through, especially with this being quite a low spec server. But again, it's your call on that. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to github.com/safex/core/releases. I believe this link will be added to the main Safex page eventually. But it'll bring you to here. So it's a static Ubuntu 18.04 build. So this is a pre-compiled Safex node here. The Safex daemon is sometimes referred to. So this is the actual underlying software for the blockchain. Once this is running, this connects to the network, downloads the latest blockchain, and starts passing it. It receives updates, and it also distributes updates as well. So it's like a giant mesh of all these nodes talking to each other and updating each other. So there's some specific dependencies that you require to run a node, which you can see there. But first of all, what we're going to do is just add a user. So I'm just going to do this quick. I've already got the commands pre-typed here, but effectively what you want to do is add user, and you just add a username. So I'm just going to use my name, give myself password, go through it. You don't really need to fill that in. Press yes for is information correct. Then what you need to do is to give that user sudo control. It's basically just admin control. So once that's done, you go su Richard. So you go to sudo su Richard, So it's sudo. So there, I'm logged into the Richard account. The reason we do this is it's highly recommended that you don't do run any kind of run the blockchain or anything like that within the actual root account, within the root user. It's just security reasons more than anything, plus just general good practice. So what we're going to do now is, on this page, there is a little bit of, there's a few little libraries and dependencies that you need to add to the server before you can run the node. So I've just cut that. So if you right click in the terminal, it will automatically paste it. Press enter, give it a few seconds. There we go, it's loaded. Next thing you need to do is download this. Now, I'm on Windows. We've got this terminal here. How are we going to get that onto there? There's a command called wget, which basically grabs files from an address and then copies it to the server. So I'm going to do a wget, right click the address, press enter, and go through, just downloading. And there we go. So now you want to be able to see that file that you've just downloaded. So if you press LS, you can see there you got the safexd or safexd daemon there. Now normally what you do is type this safexd, enter. Oh, but you've got no permissions. What we need to do now is, because this is a file that's created by someone else and it's your server's not familiar with it, you just need to change the permissions. You do that by chmod, and you add the permissions level. I'm not going to explain what the 755 is for. It's a bit long-winded, but if you just do a quick Google on chmod, it'll explain everything about it. But for this, this is all that's needed. So if you do chmod 755 safexd, enter. If you press ls again, you'll see it's in green, which means you can execute it. So the moment of truth is here. Safex daemon is ready to run. Just press enter. So it's ./safexd. Just give it a few seconds to synchronize. I'm just going to maximize this. Now, because this is a lower spec server, it may take a little bit longer to do the initial synchronization. It takes a few seconds per 100 blocks, but once this is done, it should stay synchronized without any delays or any slowness on the server side of things. So there we have it. There's the Safex node running and synchronized. Now we have a problem though. As soon as you close down the terminal, the Safex node stops because it's running within this instance. Now, there's several ways that we can handle this. First is with a special command which you add to the when you run the Safex daemon. Remember back, or we can use a tool called screens. I actually use screen a lot for my nodes, so I can have multiple things running in the background, and I can switch between them at any time. So for this instance though, I'll show you how to run it in the background with the default option. So what I'm just going to do is just save and then exit. This just shuts down the blockchain, but also saves the blockchain as well. So yeah. So if you remember, you got the safexd file there. So safexd I'm just going to show you this little function here as well. So you've got safexd help. We'll just maximize that. You've got all these options here for different conditions to start it with. Let's just see if there's any ones I can highlight for you in particular. Detached is what I'm going to show you in a minute. But you can also output which version you're running as well. So let's say they've updated the blockchain core. You'll be able to compare the version that they've got there with what's available here. This particular version is 0.01 alpha. What have we got? You can bind it to a particular IP address if you want. So you can bind it so the blockchain can be accessed from outside services. Let's say you're a software developer. You'll be able to do certain actions with the blockchain using the RPC. I believe it's a JSON command. I'm not too sure. All kinds of things that you can do with it. You can also restrict the RPC as well, so it's just running on just the bare minimum requirements needed for running a node. You can hide your port if you wanted to. Is there a way to hide your IP as well? Possibly in there. If you're having database issues as well, you can do a DB salvage command there as well, which will help you salvage the database if required. So yes, that's pretty much it. So let's go back to this. If you run safex with detach and execute it, you see there it says forking to the background. So there we go. The actual blockchain itself is now running in the background, so we can close this terminal and it will continue to run even in the background. And we can tell it's running in the background by running htop. Just press F5 as well, just to make it look a little easier. You can see here safexd in the background there. It's running under my account. You see the memory usage isn't too much. 92.8 megabytes of memory is being used. Your load average is tiny. In fact, your CPU is probably less than 1% running in the background. What else is there? So yeah, so that's the blockchain running in the background there. If you want to stop the blockchain from running for whatever reason, what you do is you type in safexd again and then exit, and it'll send the stop signal. If you press htop. So I'm rushing here. You'll see that the blockchain has stopped running. It's quit. Now the other option we can go down is using something called screen. Let me check it. Let me just double check that it's installed on this. If it's not installed on this, this is basically the command that you need to run: sudo apt-get install screen. It's already on there. Okay. So by using screen basically allows you to run multiple instances within SSH. So it's like little containers. So you can start a new session or a new container. You can execute a command within that container, and then you can detach it and then carry on doing something else whilst that's running in the background. So to do that, we go screen, and we want to do a dash capital S, and then we want to add a name for this. So I'm going to call it blockchain. So there we go. It's started a new session here for me. Just double check. Right. Okay. So again, you just run safexd in the background there. This time you don't actually have to run it with detached. You can run it just like normal. This is how I prefer to do it, because what this allows me to do is to have daemon running in the background, but I can also then, if I needed to see if the daemon was still running, if I wanted to see if there was any errors coming through or anything like that, I can basically just reopen this session and it'll be running there in the background. If you're doing that with the daemon, with it in detached mode, like I showed previous, you don't always get that instant information availability there for you. So we then do this command. So it's Control A and then D. So it's Control A and then D as separate presses, whilst holding down Control. So it's detached from that session there, but it's still running in the background. So if we do htop again, we'll see screen there with the blockchain running in the background, and I can happily go off and do my other stuff whilst that's running in the background. Now, if you want to reattach that session, you can do this command. Well, actually, first of all, I'll show you how you can see if there are any sessions running in the background. Well, any screen sessions running in the background. So it's screen-ls, and it'll show you. There's the ID. There's the actual blockchain. So if we go screen R for reattach, it can be, I think it's lowercase or uppercase, I don't think it really matters. Then you can either use the ID or the actual name for it, or you can even just call it block or whatever. I think it will automatically detect if it's the only one. And there we go. Press enter, and you've got it there. Press A, and then Control A, and then D. Oh, I've messed that up, haven't I? Let's just run that again. I'm trying to do this in one take, so you'll have to bear with me. So it's Control, holding down Control, and you press A and then D. It's in the background. If you ever want to access it again, screen or block or 1713, which was the ID number, and there we go, it's there. So now you have the Safex daemon running in the background. There's a few little commands that you can do. Different things like, let's have a look. I often use things like print, pull stats. I use this to be able to work out. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Print pull sh, I think it is. Oh yes, print PL stats. There we go, print PL stats. So whitelist. So it's 36 daemons. Well, 36 nodes of running right now. That's not necessarily how many are completely out there. That's just how many this particular node has seen so far. So every time it finds a node, it makes a record of the IP address, its unique identification number, in a little database, so it can recall it at any time. Normally, the nodes will have preferred nodes, ones that it normally always connects to. If for whatever reason they have been shut down or it just can't access it, maybe you've lost the internet connection or whatever, it'll then fall back onto any other nodes. So yeah, so that's that. Again, you can do version, so you can work out which version of the blockchain that you're running on. You can then compare it with whatever is available here within the actual GitHub of Safex. If that's the case, then you can then do an update, and the update is basically just doing what we've done before to get this on the server in the first place. So that's that. If you type in status as well, it tells you how high you are on the blockchain. So you're 100% synced, you're on the mainnet, we're not mining. The network hash rate is 1.74 mega hashes. It's been about 24 38 hours since we've been running the mainnet. 1.74 mega hashes per second, so that's 1,740,000 hashes calculations happening at any one time. That's quite a lot. Per second, that is, sorry. It'll also give you your uptime as well, so how long it's been running for. Right, whilst I'm here, I will also show you where the actual database for the Safex blockchain is actually stored. So you remember how we do ls before to show you what files are in there? If you do this extra -a, it'll show you all the hidden folders as well. You see that .safex there, .safex. Now if you type in cd, so that's change directory, .safex, it'll actually move us into there. Do an ls. We'll then have the Safex log. The Safex log is good as well if you want to have access to the entire log of events that have happened on the blockchain itself. You can actually access that through nano, safex.log, and you can go through and review all this. It's quite long-winded, but if you're trying to diagnose a problem or something like that, then you've got the logs there for you to be able to access. I'm just going to exit that. What else have we got? We've got the peer-to-peer state. I believe that's the, remember when I mentioned how the node finds other servers, other nodes, and then makes a little record. I believe that's where it's saved to. Might be wrong there. Actually, let's have a nosy in there. P2P state. Might not be viewable. No, it's not. Worth a try anyway. Always be curious. Then the lmdb folder there. So cd lmdb. Have a look. You got the data.mdb and the lock.mdb. So they're the actual block. That's where the actual blockchain is stored. If for whatever reason you've synced up to the wrong blockchain or whatever, there's been a slight fork or whatever node you've happened to connect to has the wrong blockchain. It's quite rare now that we've got so many nodes available. You can delete those files there and it'll force the daemon to re-download the blockchain. If that's ever the case, all you need to do is rm-rf.safexd, safex, not safex, sorry, safex, and then that will delete the Safex, the blockchain database, and it will force you to re-download it. So there we have it. There's your own Safex node. As I said, if you create an account on Vulture or VULTR, whatever it's called, the minimum top up is $10, but that $10 will get you 3-4 months or so worth of usage out of it. So if you can support the Safex blockchain in any way, nodes are always required to keep everything running nicely, smoothly, so that the blockchain is distributed nicely and in a quick manner as well. It's one way you can support the network. If you can't mine, if you don't have facilities to mine, but you want to help Safex grow and be stable, this is one way that you can do it. It's low cost way, $10 as I said. Not a huge amount of money. It's you know, it's can get you a couple of coffees, but at the same time it can get you 3-4 months or so worth of node running. So there you have it. If you have any other suggestions for other videos, I will be doing, I know a lot of people are asking for a video on how to mine. That is coming. I'm just waiting on or setting up a mining pool before I do that, because the current process is quite complicated. It requires you to do a custom compile of the actual blockchain daemon itself, as well as the other functions that are in there, and also something called stratum, which is used to communicate between your GPU and the blockchain. It just requires a little bit of technical experience and technical knowledge to be able to pull it off. By all means, if you want to get into mining, do that. However, be aware that it does require a little bit of experience with the servers. Not too much, but it does require a little bit of prior experience with Linux and Ubuntu, and command line interfaces. As soon as I have a pool running and available, we're currently working on that right now, I will show you a way to be able to mine through Windows. You can also do it in Linux as well if you're on Linux, and also Mac OS as well. You won't have to set up your own node. You can mine directly from Windows to a pool and get everything that's needed. So that's that for this video. So if you've got any other suggestions, just give me a shout, leave a description, leave a message in the comments. I'll leave all the commands that I've used on here in the description, including a link to Vultr as well. And yeah, so let me know what you think. If there's anything else, just let me know. Thank you.